Um, we are back, and sorry about the delays. I was hoping to do one every week, but I ended up starting my new engraving business, plus working and doing gigs. So I stay pretty busy. Um, if you'll notice, I have a shadow on here. I got a new computer during this downtime, and this thing is really fast. It's an older iMac. It's a 2015, but with 16 gig of RAM and of course the i5 quad core. Yeah, it's a screamer and does a great job with this sort of thing. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to not make the saddle and the fuselage, and we'll talk about the canopy, and I'll probably put another video out shortly about how to flatten this fuselage side in order to cut it on laser or CNC. I actually had a question about that, and there's a method to do that in Fusion 360. It works most of the time. Um, if it doesn't work, you can do it with Mesh Mixer, but Mesh Mixer, that's hard to say for some reason, is actually going away, and all of those Mesh Mixer is going to get integrated into Fusion 360, which is good news because then we're only having to use one, software for everything we need. So if you notice, I didn't quite bring those center ribs, those side ribs, out far enough. They should have been in line with the fuselage sides, and I missed that when I drew this wing. So take note and don't repeat this mistake. But I think I can get through it and fix it. So what I'm going to do is turn the fuselage off. I'm actually going to extend the center sheeting out, and then to get a smoother line, I want to make this extend this center sheeting and this one to meet in the middle, so I don't have all these weird notches here. And we're going to see how that goes. So I'm going to select the left wing, and for now that's well I'm going to use. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another component for actually cutting out this wing saddle. You can use the same component, but since I'm having to do lots of doctoring here, I want to just create a separate component to cut the wing saddle out, so I don't have to go back and fix all this again. There's a couple of ways we could do it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and find this body, which is this one right here. And I should have named all these, but that's okay. So I'm going to create a component from this body. And this is the body I want to do it with. Okay, here it is. So I also want to bring, well, let's try it differently. Let's just do a copy and paste. So let's go in here and create a new group. And I'm going to create this group as, instead of component, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm just going to use this as saddle tools. We're going to call it that. All right, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to find the body, which we should have named, wherever it is. Here it is, body 23. And I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to paste. So what that does is it pastes the body exactly where the original was. So that new body I'm going to keep, and I'm going to put that up into saddle tools. But first, we want it to stay in this position. We don't want it to move. So now I have two bodies right there. If I turn one off, you'll see that there's still something there. So let's go up here and move this into saddle tools. We need the leading edge to go in there as well. So let's find that. There it is, leading edge. Let's copy and paste. Okay, so now we have leading edge 1. We don't want to move it. Let's put that up here in saddle tools. We want this trailing edge piece, and we're going to hit copy, and we're going to hit paste. You can also right click and just hit paste, And there it is. We don't want to move it. Let's put it up here in Saddle Tools. And then we want this top sheeting as well. So go copy and then paste. So there that is. And we're going to put this up here in Saddle Tools. So now what we can do, we can turn all this other stuff off. And I'm going to turn off the right wing too. We will turn all of this off. Turn off the main gear situation. We're going to turn off the wing joiner, wherever that went to. Where is that? Oh, there we go. Let's turn that off. Okay, so now we're left with this. We have a weird anomaly on this thing, but we can get rid of that. I think, yeah. I'm just going to create an offset plane. And what that's going to do, that's going to allow me to trim that off. So I'm going to go up here. And everything we're working in is this saddle tool folder. Body to split. Let's use that, hit OK, and let's see if we can't get rid of that. Did it split like we wanted it? It did. Now this is probably down here. Yep, there it is. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's turn this back on. And what I want to do is I want to do an offset. A press pull or an offset. So you can hit Q on the keyboard to get this. And this function will actually do extrudes. It will do fillets and press pull. Press pull is a little bit different than an extrude in that it's actually going to follow. You see how it kind of follows that curve? It follows the direction or the shape that's already there. And the only thing I'm going to do that on both of these surfaces to try to get them to meet. And I'm going to do it in a way that I can remember what I did. So 0.75 there, and I'm just going to move each of them until they meet. That's going to make up where the spar is sticking up. And the way I did the wing joiners is not good. I should have put the wing joiners underneath in a different spot so they weren't sticking up. But that's all right. Main thing is to get the basic idea, and then I'll start making some more detailed videos later. In fact, I've got some already planned. Let's go here, bring this up a little more. And at some point, these things will meet, and they should maintain. Oh, that actually looks really close. So let's bring this back a little bit. And I'm just doing a little bit at a time. It's pretty close. I think we can actually combine this now and see what happens. Yeah, it's got some weird stuff there, but I think it's going to work close enough for what we need. So now let's see if we can move this, not that. See, if I click on the edge, it creates a fillet. But I want to grab this face right here, and this face, and this face. And I want to pull it out just a bit. So now if we go back and turn the fuselage on, we should see that, yeah, all that is covered now, which is what we want. So, but now if we hit the combine, it's not going to quite, it's going to just cut a slot in here, and we'll have to come back and cut this down to make it work and then cut a chunk out of there, but I think it'll work. Let's try that and see. Let's go to combine, and we're going to hit cut. We're going to keep our tools. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on that. And now let's turn that wing off. And as you can see, that's exactly what we got. So we really need to create a line right here to cut this from there. And I wonder if we're going to have, yeah, we're going to have to cut this as well. Let me go to the fuselage now and make that the active drawing. Let's go into bodies, and I want to take the right side off. I want to take everything off but the side we're working on. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's not connected there. The only part that it's connected is right here, and really it could bring it straight down, but this piece is going to fall off anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on here. And sometimes if the fuselage is curved, you won't be able to create that sketch on the surface itself. You'll have to create it on a plane, and then you'll just use that as your tool to cut. So I'm going to kind of follow this and come down to here, and this should cut it. Let's see what happens. So I finished the sketch. I'll turn my sketches on. They were off so I can see what I'm doing. I'll go to split body. I'll select that and then select that. Now if you notice, with the extend splitting tool, it's going to take it all the way out, but here it won't extend it, and we'll see if it cuts through. So we hit OK. Yeah, it didn't like that, I don't think. Yeah, we're still one body. So we're going to have to extend the splitting tool. So I'm going to come back, select this, go to the splitting tool, extend splitting tool, and hit OK. Now that should give us basically 3 bodies. Let's see if it does. I don't think it quite does. Nope, we're trying to break this little piece off here. Let's go back and edit this sketch. Okay. Let's take this off of this line. If you notice, I have a constraint right here. I'm going to select the constraint, and I'm going to delete that constraint. So now I can move this point. And I basically just want it to kind of cut in line with that line. And I'm going to make it a little exaggerated, so now I know it will go through. So now it redid it. And we do have 3 left sides. So if I delete this one, which was the top one, I can remove that. And then now I still have 2 pieces here, so I need to join those 2. So I'm going to go to the combine tool and select this and that, and there we have it. We'll turn that sketch off. So there we have our wing saddle, and it should fit our wing nicely. Let's turn the wing on. Let's turn the saddle tools off. And come in here and turn all these bodies on. Now, I normally like to organize this into ribs, sheeting, spars, so I can turn off sections at a time. I didn't do that here, and I should have. So now if we look, we can see that our wing is mated beautifully to our fuselage. And then you'll just repeat that operation to the other side. And one thing you could do to repeat that operation, instead of having to draw all those again on the right side, 2 things you could do. you could mirror the fuselage side. And let's see, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're active still on our fuselage. So if I come up here and I hit S on my keyboard, and it's going to bring up my design shortcuts. You can also go to create, and there's mirror also right there. I like the design shortcuts. And I want to mirror a body. So this is what I want to mirror, and I want to select my mirror plane. And this is again why we like to draw our designs around the origin. So now you have a left and right side. You can mirror the bodies that we use to create the cut and just cut the other side. Or you could do it several ways. So that's the whole beauty of CAD, is you've got a bunch of different ways to do things. So but anyway, there you have it. That's the wing saddle. Now let's talk a little bit. I think I'm going to end this video and then make another video on the canopy. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this, and hopefully this was helpful for everybody. Thanks.